That Note with Parker Whirling.
Kapoorhouse, no space, lowercase h. Thanks for joining me on the podcast for the 200th episode of On That Note. It's a special one. It's excited to have you on. Obviously, it's usually more like bands and indie artists here in Atlanta, but I figured let's celebrate the 200th episode with a titan of the Atlanta music scene in my eyes.
Oh my gosh.
Kapoorhouse. Yeah, you're very much a tastemaker of the scene. You prop up good Atlanta / Athens indie artists. I know you may be a little further, not just Atlanta and Athens, but pretty much those areas. And I think that's really noble of you. I think you've got great taste, and it's cool to see that someone is leading the charge when it comes to really highlighting these artists.
Oh, that's like so nice. But yeah, I mean, it's just really fun to, just cover all the bands that I love and discovering new ones along the way. But yeah.
And speaking of Atlanta, Athens artists, you brought some records here. Usually we start out each episode with going through my collection of vinyl over there and picking an album that kind of means a lot to the artist. But today we talked about having you bring on some vinyl from local bands that you wanted to talk about. So let's dig into the bag, the Criminal Records bag.
Yeah, I couldn't find my reusable yellow bag, but I had this.
That's okay. We got to rep Criminal Records on here too.
Because I was just there kind of recently. So the first one I brought was the newest Girlpuppy album.
Nice.
I went to her album release show, and that was really good. I've seen her a bunch of times, but that show was just especially really good. And I talked to her a bit. And
Where was the show?
It was at the Earl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yep.
I love the Earl. I don't know Becca, but I know Jaron and Cooper who play with her. They're like the two guitarists.
Yeah.
They're in Walter Slide up in Chattanooga, if you know them, that band.
No.
Dude, I'll put you on because Walter Slide has one of my favorite songs that anyone has ever wrote in this scene and maybe in general. It's a fantastic song.
Send me that.
I will for sure. So we got Girlpuppy.
Yeah, Girlpuppy.
Debut record.
Second.
Oh, it is?
record.
Oh,
yeah.
Shit. My bad.
Yeah. What was it called? She had her debut
nice.
album a couple years ago. But this is Mama Larky's newest album. They just played at the Earl recently too.
Dude. I'm so bummed I missed that show.
Yeah, it was such a good show, and I saw them at 529 last time. They were in town.
Oh, cool.
Well, at least all of them, because Noor is from Atlanta. But
who is?
The bass player. Yeah.
Dude, okay. This is crazy. I've never told anybody this. I'm 99% sure that I went to the same school as Noor.
Oh, yeah?
She was like 3 grades above me, because I'm like, when I looked up Mama Larky and then found out they were from Atlanta, and they sort of are, because it's like just her, I guess. They're like all over the place.
Yeah.
I was like, she looks so familiar. And then I looked her up on my Facebook, where I think we're friends on Facebook because of we went to the same school.
Yeah.
We both went to Lovett. And I was like, holy shit, that's crazy. I mean, we never even talked, I don't think, because she was like 3 grades above me.
And she's in like Faye Webster's band.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Like if you watch their Tiny Desk, she's in that.
Whoa.
Yeah. Along with like Annie Leaf.
Yeah, shout out Annie Leaf.
Yeah. But this album is just really good. Their last album was also really good.
I loved the last one.
They're awesome. Oh yeah, and my records, I like to put the sticker on the reusable sleeves so that I can save the stickers. That's what I do.
Smart.
That's what. Is there one in the Girlpuppy?
There is.
Yeah. So I save the stickers and put them on the.
That's smart. Yeah, because I don't want them like on the actual.
Yeah, because it comes on the wrapping, and I want to save the stickers, so I always.
So you buy the reusable sleeves on your own. Oh, okay, I got you. But that's smart.
Yeah,
so they don't get all scuffed up like mine.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the next one I brought is the new Hey Nothing EP.
Yeah.
I have all of their discography that they've released physically.
Nice.
But I wanted to bring the latest one because, that's what's new. And it's
shout out Tyler and Harlow.
Yeah. It's such a great EP. They've just really evolved their sound, and the song with Lighthearted on here is just really good as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, they're
Yeah.
awesome. I met them like maybe 2 years ago now, and I remember Tommy kind of last minute making a song for them because they were starting to really do well on TikTok and all that.
Yeah.
And just seeing how far they've come in such a short amount of time has been amazing. And obviously they've been putting in so much work. They're always in the studio. They're always touring. It's really amazing to see. And they're like the sweetest people I've ever
And
met.
they're always still so humble. They still collaborate. Like, they're so into collaborating still. Like, they're just such a great
Also, just the goofiest people I've ever
group of
met.
people. Yeah. They're funny. They're really funny. But yeah, I got a couple more in here I'm gonna get through. So the next one I brought was the new Lunar Vacation album.
Nice.
They recorded this in Decatur,
Oh.
which is where we are right now.
Yeah. Whereabouts in Decatur?
Do
you know the
It was
studio?
like their house.
Oh, okay. I
Like,
gotcha.
it was like in their house.
I need to get into Lunar Vacation because I've heard about them from
I
you.
was
And
yeah, like I was late to their other albums. But this album is like just like my introduction really to Lunar Vacation, like fully. Like, I've heard like their hits and stuff.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people have, but this is just such a great introduction to this band if you want to get into this band.
Okay, sick. I love the cover.
Yeah.
I just
yeah,
noticed the
super-
cat and the moon on the drawing. I didn't notice that at first.
Yeah. Yup. It's
Very
super cool.
sick.
I got this at the Lunar Vacation album release signing at Criminal Records. They had where they like performed, and then they had a record signing. That was cool. And I like introduced myself to them, and they already knew what Kapoorhouse was.
Oh,
So that was cool.
sick.
Yeah, they were like, "Oh yeah, we've seen that," which was fun.
Yeah, that's cool. I
yeah.
feel like that would probably happen to you a lot. You're always posting about
It does,
bands around here.
and then I blush because I'm like super like it's not that deep. I'm just a person.
Just a person like everyone else.
Yeah. Okay, but the next one I brought was
Hell yeah.
you're getting into like a little bit like this is a little bit older. I mean, it came out like about a year ago now.
Yeah.
I guess so did the Lunar Vacation one. But yeah, this is Improvement Movement's latest album.
Love
such a great
Improvement Movement.
band. They've really popped off since, not even since this release, but they've really popped off recently.
Clark Sound, the
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen his band play? Like, just
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've
hey,
seen-
there you go. Clark Sound, next
Yeah.
record.
This is actually the last record I brought.
Okay, last one.
Clark Sounds. Yep. This album is really great. He's put out like at least a couple albums. I think, yeah.
Dude, it's so funny because I moved from LA back to Atlanta around 2021, and later that year in 2021, like October or something, maybe in the summer, I interviewed him on Zoom because I did all these episodes on Zoom, and I found him because I followed Improvement Movement before they were kind of doing what they're doing now, because they've been around for a while.
Yeah.
And they just like reposted a video of him doing his thing, playing guitar and all these other instruments in a video. And I was like, whoa, this guy's great. And then I found out he's from Atlanta. So then I reached out, had him on the podcast. And he's the whole reason, in a way, I moved to Athens, because I wanted him to produce some songs of mine.
That's
and he was
awesome.
like, I can produce them, but I don't really engineer them. If you want to get somebody to record them, we should go to Patrick Doherty's place in Athens, who's Racket Recording. So we started going to Athens to do that, which is then when I met Tommy, who I ended up living with. And then that whole world opened up literally because I just happened to interview Clark like years ago.
Damn. Yeah, I watched that actually.
Oh, you
I
did?
watched that Zoom interview. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That one really popped off. People love.
Yeah.
People like still go back and like listen to that one.
It like
'cause-
popped up on my feed. Like I didn't
okay.
even go out of my way to watch. It like popped up on my feed. Like,
that's cool.
and I was like, oh yeah, Clark Sound and Parker. I'll watch that.
Yeah.
I had never known that that existed.
I know. I need to get him back on. It's so crazy how much he's blown up over the years, and also he like John Mayer reposted his songs. You ever see that on Instagram? That was so crazy.
My mom's friend used to work with John Mayer at Eddie's Attic.
No way. My friend's mom also worked with him at Eddie's Attic.
That's funny.
Yeah, maybe they know each other.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's
my
cool.
mom's friend said that he would fart a lot.
Oh damn!
Your mom said
The inside scoop. I don't know if my friend's mom said he farted a lot, but I believe it.
Maybe it was just gossip.
And then okay, cool. I wanted to ask you about the cassettes that you brought.
Yeah, so I brought a couple of cassettes. These are ones that we did for Kapoorhouse. These are Kapoorhouse exclusive. We did one with Recess Party with their latest album.
Yeah.
It came out like 2023 maybe, like end of 2023.
Yeah.
And then we also did Honey Knife's latest album.
Cool.
On cassette tapes. And so yeah, I brought this one for you actually. This is sealed.
Oh.
That one's for you.
Dude, thank you.
Yeah.
This
is my only Recess Party one now, but
that's the only Recess Party one?
left. I mean,
left.
this is my personal one. We
right.
Yeah,
Very valuable.
We sold those out.
Dude, thank you for
but
this.
Yeah, that's
this
for you.
is so cool.
Yep.
I need to get a cassette player.
Yeah.
But my mom's car has one in the car, so every once in a while, if I just want to listen to something, I'll like take her old convertible out for a spin and throw on the 1975 single that I have, or I have the Telemarket one. Do you know Telemarket?
Oh yeah.
They gave me one as well when I had them on the pod.
Oh,
but
wow.
Thank you. This is really sweet.
Yeah, I just think cassettes are so cool because they're like, they're like collectibles in a way. Where you can like collect like all your favorite like indie bands. And
they're not
just a way
quite
to
as
easily
expensive
collect
as like a vinyl.
Collectibles of your favorite bands.
Yeah, I've been going back to the CDs recently. Whenever I buy merch at a stand, or if I go to Criminal Records, like I just went to Criminal Records the other day, and I don't know, because I love vinyl, but it's very stationary. I spend a lot more time in my car than I do just sitting in my bedroom for like an hour, and that's why I'd go like get a CD instead. But also when I was at Criminal Records, I just went just for the hell of it, and it turned out that what's that band? Oh my God, Group Love. Yeah, was playing.
You went? Oh, so you were there for that?
Yeah, but I didn't have no plans to be there. I just went because I was like looking at like the vintage shops around there, like Ragorama and American. What is it? I forgot. Clothing Warehouse.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Wax and Facts.
I actually haven't been there. Not Wax and Facts. I've only been to Criminal Records, but I should check it out. And I went in and I was like, why are all these people hanging out at the front of the stage? I guess somebody's about to play. And then I looked on their Instagram and I was like, oh shit, Group Love is playing. That's crazy.
Yeah, I couldn't make it to that.
I know, I half expected you to see you there.
I know. I was at the Callous Cowboys one like last week or the week before.
Dude, they have really exploded.
Yeah. Do
you know Anthony Fantana?
I do.
He reviewed their album.
Yeah, he reviewed their Celebrity Therapist album too. He called it mid.
I didn't even know.
But that was like a huge compliment to them. So that they loved that shit.
Just getting a review from him would be like, I think I would cry.
Yeah,
I can't imagine.
Yeah,
like a buddy of mine met him when he did like a tour.
Oh,
came to Atlanta in like 2016, so it was a while ago.
That's awesome.
I'm like, I think if I met Anthony Fantana, it would be more of a shock to me than meeting anyone. Yeah, probably.
I would love to do one of his worst take videos.
Oh yeah, or he shakes your hand. He's like, "What's my worst take?" Yeah, those are awesome, dude. And I have mine ready to go. I think mine would be. It used to be that he gave King of Limbs by Radiohead a 4, which I thought was pretty messed up. But as time goes by, I'm like, I hate to say, I think he was right. But I do think the worst take he's had is the MJ Linderman album.
Yeah, I was gonna say
that one's like he gave it a 3.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it.
I actually just listened to that album recently. Like,
Yeah,
I thought it was good.
I
Like,
really enjoy it, and
yeah,
I listened to it. It's so embarrassing. I listened to it like when it came out, and then he shit on it completely,
jeez.
and it's hard to not. It was hard for me to not like, you know, hear his point of view and be like, I don't know. I would just listen to it and hear his voice in my head.
Yeah.
So I didn't listen to it for a while, and then I came back to it like a month ago or 2 months ago, and I've been listening to it constantly. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, what does he know? You know, this music rules. But I will say I pretty much agree with him on a lot of takes he has. I think he's really, really well
Yeah.
thought out and smart, but not on this one. I think he got it wrong on this one.
Yeah.
But anyway,
art is subjective.
art is subjective. And speaking of subjective art, you're the one who gets to choose your own playlist and playlist your own,
Yeah.
you know, your artists, which has gotten a lot of, I don't want to say pull, but it feels like a lot of people, like, you know, are excited about being on your playlist when you do put people on. Like, I was very stoked
Yeah.
to find out that you've put my songs on there, because I feel like, I don't know, it's a point of pride, and people listen to it, and I think it kind of represents the Atlanta indie sound. But what made you want to start this? How long have you been doing it? And
Yeah. So, I mean, that's just what it's all about. I mean, I think it's just a great way for people to get like excited. I mean, the artists excited and just people excited about the music they love, and I just love making playlists. And yeah, it's just a way for me to just to put out, you know, what music I think is just hot right now,
Mhm.
like amongst the community, and what people are like really into, and what I think people would be into, with the music that they already like.
What made you like think of the idea, and when it happened? Like, do you remember where you were, like when it was, when you're like, oh, I should start a playlist that really highlights the scene?
Yeah, so it was like I kind of firstly, I mean, it probably started as like I needed a playlist to like keep track of all the local bands that I listened to,
Mm-hmm.
and like followed, because Kapoorhouse started as like going to like local shows, you know, taking
Mhm.
pictures and posting them, and just being consistent with that. So it just became like a portfolio of like local bands, sort of. Um, and yeah, it was just like a way to showcase, you know, all the bands. And that was the idea of it. That's how it started. That's how I got the idea of just just going to shows, and you know, I got the idea like, oh, I should make a playlist, you know.
Yeah. Do you remember those first shows that you would go to when you were younger?
Well, I grew up going to Eddie's Attic a lot.
Right.
My mom's friend, Michelle Malone, is like I mean, still is part of the Atlanta scene, but she was like a big Atlanta like artist back in like the 90s.
Cool.
Like, she was signed to Arista Records for a
Oh.
while. Yeah, like, and she still plays Eddie's Attic every New Year's Eve. She does the late and the early show.
Whoa.
Every New Year's Eve you can see Michelle Malone play there.
Huh. That's interesting.
But yeah, I just grew up seeing her play a lot live. Just like a couple other bands my parents were friends with, and
So your parents are also pretty into, I guess, the music scene and all that.
yeah. So I grew up like being kind of like part of their music scene. Like, we'd have bands playing at our house, like in our basement when I was a kid.
Whoa.
Like, yeah, we'd have like a whole band set up in our basement. Like, that was the original Kapoorhouse when I was a kid, watching from the top of the stairs. Just whatever Atlanta band was there that weekend.
Yeah.
Like, I think we even had like an ad in the paper once about house show or something.
Whoa.
But yeah, that's kind of what the Kapoorhouse idea came from. Like if those house shows, like in my basement when I was a kid, weren't a thing, I probably wouldn't be so
Yeah.
interested in live music.
You really had like a lifetime of being Kapoorhouse in a way.
Yeah, like the term Kapoorhouse has just been a part of my life. Like,
Yeah,
not like part of my whole life.
that's so crazy. I feel like most people I know, including myself, fall into this community, or at least they look for a community like this with music later in life. Maybe because they just haven't found something earlier. Like for me, I'd never really found a musical community for a long time.
Yeah.
And that's cool that you essentially were born into one. I mean, you've kind of also made your own in a way, like your own, what is it? Like your own little universe of it. But you were also molded by the previous generation's version of that.
Yeah.
Do you ever think about, where Kapoorhouse kind of fits within that realm? Might be a weird question, but
Like,
just in the long term of the Atlanta music scene, like
where it fits in.
Yeah.
I think Kapoorhouse fits in as like it's just like an outlet where people can find, like, it's their guide to find all of their new favorite music, with the emphasis on Atlanta sound. But it's like, when I rank it, I don't know. I mean, I don't know where it fits in is like, I kind of see it as like, it doesn't fit in.
Uh-huh.
Like it's, you go to Kapoorhouse to see everything. Like, I feel like it's to keep up with everything. So it's like
Bit of a database.
it's sort of a data, yeah, like a
Might be a weird way of putting it.
yeah,
but.
it's a weird way of putting it, but it's like a database for finding all your like, to cover like all
Mhm.
it's part of Atlanta's rock scene, I guess. Like, that's where it fits in. But
Yeah, I mean, I literally use it to find new artists who I want to have on this podcast,
yeah,
which is,
that's awesome.
yeah, it's cool because, I mean, there's people I know, obviously, and I'll have them on who are friends whose music I like. But then, I start to interview all my friends. And I'm like, oh, shit, I got to find other people now. And then I'll go to your playlist and look for artists who I didn't necessarily know about. I'm trying to think of, oh, you had Lane Marie, who's actually in Athens. But there's a song by Lane Marie on your playlist.
Yeah.
I didn't know her. So I found that song, Changing. Just had her on the podcast like 2 episodes ago. And she was awesome.
That's
one
awesome.
of my favorite podcasts. One of my favorite, like, local songs I've heard in a while.
Yeah.
Was that one, and all because of your playlist. And I'm trying to think of who else. Perfect Animal, probably, who I know you're tight with.
Yeah, they're awesome guys.
Yeah. How did you get in touch with them, like Eric and Michael?
Yeah, so
I need to have Argyle Records
so
on here.
Eric, the lead singer of Perfect Animal, has just been big supporter of Kapoorhouse, and he's just been a friend of mine for like past couple of years now. And he introduced me to Michael before we started doing like the live sessions, and we just quickly became like fast friends, like the three of us. And Michael's helped us with like a lot of live sessions and stuff. This was before he was even in Perfect Animal.
Right. I remember when I met him, I didn't think he was in that band, and all of a sudden, semi-recently, I've seen him in all the promos.
He helped produce their last album, but he wasn't a part of their band until maybe a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's been a part of their band ever since. But yeah, I mean, they're just great friends of mine. Michael helps me out a ton, and Eric's there for support.
Yeah. Good guys.
Yeah.
Dude, Eric's
They're
funny,
awesome.
man. He came on the pod. He came in locked and loaded with one of the hottest takes I've ever heard, which was like, Strokes aren't really that good. I'm like, holy shit, no one I know believes that. And
I mean,
except maybe Kapoorhouse.
I just don't really listen to them.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't like them.
Yeah.
I just don't listen to them a lot.
I still shiver when I think of when he said that. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit here and tell you they're my favorite band, but
Yeah.
I think they
got
have
some good songs.
amazing songs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just the casualness in which he dropped that. I was like, damn, dude, that was cold. But yeah, those are the guys. They're very.
He's a
sweet.
funny guy. He's got some fun taste.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. I wanted to know, you've been doing this for a while. What are some things you didn't expect to gain in a way, maybe emotionally, intellectually, out of doing this Kapoorhouse?
Yeah, so I've like gained a lot of knowledge on like just how like the music industry kind of works. Don't ask me to explain how the music industry works or anything.
Yeah, this was going to be a tell-all.
but I know things. But yeah, I mean, I've like people have contacted me that I didn't think would ever contact me and stuff. Like just venues like talking to me and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The way they are now, it's just really interesting. I mean, not interesting, like exciting and wow. And
Yeah.
like
What would they hit you up about?
like Masquerade, like I have a relationship with now. Like they'll have me do giveaways for their shows sometimes.
Oh, cool.
Like I did a giveaway for the Girlpuppy show that they,
Yeah.
because I mean it was at the Earl, but they host some shows at like other venues too.
Right.
Like they promote other shows where I guess they book shows at other venues too.
Yeah.
And like the Mama Larky show, I did a giveaway for. But yeah, I'd love to work with venues more and stuff like that. And I'm booking shows at Eddie's Attic too. I've got two. Cool. We have a show next month and a show in August.
Nice. What are the shows?
When does this come out?
This will come out in like 2 weeks. It'll be not this Wednesday, but the next.
I don't know if that we're gonna announce them before that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were worried about them having already happened.
No.
But yeah, I got you.
Yeah, so it'll be one in July.
Well, be on the lookout, guys.
Yeah, we have 2 shows.
Follow Kapoorhouse.
They're gonna be pretty cool. I mean, I'll tell you after we're done. But they're gonna be some pretty. We're gonna have some pretty cool shows coming up.
Nice.
At Eddie's Attic.
Cool.
But yeah, it's just super cool to be able to cover just the Atlanta scene, even like out of town bands coming in.
Mm-hmm.
We cover those as well, and that's super cool. But yeah, it's just like the happenings in Atlanta,
Yeah.
and covering just music from like New Music Friday is just music from. Really, it's just curated by. I have a small team now, and it's just curated by us. So it's like we'll like have music from a small artist in like Nashville on our New Music Friday post, and so I mean it's not always totally Atlanta specific,
Right?
But it's your new favorite music with an emphasis on Atlanta sound.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just really cool to be able to meet all these new people and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. And I do like that you're adding a little more artists that are not necessarily from Atlanta, but they are mixed in, because it's like,
and they come and play here, like, yeah,
exactly. And the new Music Friday, I mean, you got to do that every week. What's the process like? Because I see the posts on Instagram, and they're not just like, you have to like put some effort into these posts. So yeah. I'm just curious, as somebody who has to do a thing every week about, posting like new episode out today, here's the clip, like I have to do that every week.
Yeah.
What's your process when like every Friday you're putting out this kind of carousel post of different artists and you have to add to the playlist? Like what's the process like? Yeah.
So, I usually try to get it done, pretty early in the week. I mean, I'm just like always paying attention to all the new music coming out and what music I'm interested in and what new music people that I am interacting with are listening to. and yeah, I just try to compile like just all our favorite music from the week into a weekly post, and it's pretty. I feel like it's a good mix of like bigger artists, some out of town indie artists, and Atlanta and Athens artists as well. But yeah, that's what it's really like. Just trying to really do that. Yeah.
And what have been some of the challenges that have arisen over the years of doing something like this? I'm sure there's got to be times where you're like, wow, this like is really tough to figure out, or it's hard to like go to all these shows that I want to go to. Like, what are some of the things that you've had to work through in order to keep Kapoorhouse going?
Yeah, so there are times when like I'm like, man, there's like some great shows this week. I'm not gonna be able to make it to all of them. It'd be impossible. So yeah, I've really got to like pick like what I think is really like is gonna be what's what's on people's like mind. Like I have to think like, okay, this show is like gonna be what everyone's wanting to see like coverage of, and it's like, but then this other show is like, oh, we'll see them. They'll be back like next month, so I mean they'll have another cool show next month, so we'll cover them on the page, and I try to like have a good mix of like who I'm covering, so it's like I'm not covering too much of one artist and stuff. But I'm kind of drifting from your question.
No, that's like, I mean, just the scheduling of having to go to all these shows. You can't possibly go to every. I
have to
one.
Like think in advance, like what's gonna be on the page, like basically this month. And yeah.
Do you have a planner, or do you kind of just go with the flow every week?
I don't so much have a planner. I have like. Yeah, not really. I have like a whiteboard that I like.
Okay. Yeah.
That I have like what kind of content we want to put out all the time. So I always have like on my mind like what kind of content we need to be putting out at this time, but not like specific like
right.
This person. I'm pretty good at like remembering like what's going on this week. But don't ask me what's next week. But
Dude, I get it. Yeah. I have like, this is the first time in a while that I've had 2 episodes recorded at once. Like I have one coming out next week, and then this one that we're doing right now. There was a time where I had like 4 or 5 locked in the chamber, and that was the best. But now it's like every week I'm like, oh, I got to find somebody for next week. And then as soon as I do it, I feel like Sisyphus pushing the boulder up the hill. Yeah. Like every week I need to find somebody new because I can't plan. I can't just like take an hour to sit and reach out to like 10 artists. Yeah. And I'm sure, you've had your own experiences with like reaching out to artists, and like it's hard, everybody has their own things that they're doing. So not everybody can get back to you immediately, or they just forget to respond, and like you don't want to be the person that's like pushing them or whatever. And then, you just got to work around that. But over time, it gets a little bit easier.
Yeah. And it's just like, I mean, I like when I'm like scheduling, like if I need to schedule, I like to schedule like a bunch, like all at once. And then, cause it's like, for me, it's like having to schedule someone like once, like every other week. I'm like, it's like, I'm not like, I feel, it's not like I don't have like the, what's the word? I don't have the drive to like to contact like every single week like for a specific thing. Like I like to try and book like all like sit down and I'm like I'm gonna contact all these bands that I want to do stuff with like this month and stuff. Like, and I'll do it that way.
Yeah,
and
that's a smart way to do it.
And it's like, there's some bands where it's like, yeah, you can just DM them. And then there's like some bands where it's like, I should probably send an email.
Yeah, so like it's a manager or something.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah. Or there's some bands where I can just text them.
Right.
So, yeah. I'll try and do that all at once. But I just love interacting with bands, and that's what I really want to do, like make content with bands and stuff.
Yeah.
Rather than like what Kapoorhouse was for a long time was just like strictly just like covering like live shows.
Oh, okay.
But
Even before a playlist.
yeah, like Kapoorhouse didn't launch with playlists.
Okay.
But I'd like to like, make content with bands, so people can like relate to bands and stuff and like get to know the bands more than just seeing like photos from the concerts and stuff.
Right.
So yeah, I'd love to make more content with like artists and stuff, and I am. So that's super cool.
That's great. Who do you think does it right when you think of I don't know. When I think of you, like I was trying to figure out what the word would be to describe what Kapoorhouse is. I'm like, I went with either platform or like publication.
I go with publication.
Publication. Okay, cool.
I think of Kapoorhouse as like NPR.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Sure. Because it's like, it's not just one thing, it's a few things, but it all, at the end of the day, is a publication.
Yeah.
So what are some publications that you look at and you're like, I want to kind of do it how they're doing it, or I like that they do it this way?
I'm really inspired by like that Pleaser magazine.
Pleaser?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
I feel like you could compare our page to theirs sort of in a way. They're much more magazine oriented though. But they do like book things occasionally, like how we book things occasionally. And they'll cover shows and stuff. I just really like the way that their graphics look and everything.
Yeah.
And just, I feel like they're really good at what they do. They got a solid team over at Pleaser.
Where are they based? Do you know?
Ooh, if I don't know, maybe like Nashville.
Oh, okay.
Like, I'm not entirely sure on that, but that sounds right. But,
yeah, anybody else?
I mean, I don't really compare. Like I feel like I'm getting closer to something like Pitchfork, where it's like we do like the little videos with bands where it's like and stuff, where we do little interviews, and we have the album reviews, and we post music news, and I feel like it's sort of like if Pitchfork was more locally oriented, it would be something like that. Like I that's what I kind of see Kapoorhouse being like a Pitchfork, but for like indie music.
Right.
Like, I mean, they cover indie music too, but more so.
Totally.
Yeah.
I love Pitchforks. They're like, what's your favorite, like, what is it, your 10? What's a 10 for you?
Yeah.
Like an album?
Yeah. Like, what's your 10?
Yeah, and I feel like they do that for a lot of artists who are not that big.
Yeah.
Which I think is really cool. Like, I've heard of this band, Quickly.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know them.
That's how I discovered them too.
Oh, really?
From that.
That Perfect 10?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's how I discovered them.
They're great. I love that new record that he put out.
I put that was on New Music Friday. That was on our New Music Friday when that came out. Yep.
That's awesome.
So cuz we cover, that's why I like to cover like artists, like bands that like people that listen to like the Atlanta music scene, like music that they might also listen to.
Right, even if it's outside.
Yeah, even if it's outside.
Yeah.
But it's like it goes along with it.
Absolutely.
And I think that needs to be I think that needs to be a thing where it's like Music Friday is something where it's for like everything. It doesn't have to just be specific.
Totally. And I like that it's still, you're keeping it indie, so that you're propping up artists that don't necessarily have that gigantic push behind them. It's like, you're doing your part in highlighting these artists that are, busting their ass and writing good music.
Yeah. And it's just finding the right mix. Like, you don't want to like put like huge, like I'm not gonna put like new Katy Perry song on the New Music
Come
Friday.
on, why not?
Or like, I love Addison Rae, but I'm not gonna put Addison Rae.
Okay, yeah.
But
Yeah, no Charlie on there.
yeah, I might put Charlie. Charlie's fine.
She's like, I'll make an exception.
I'll make
for
an
Charlie.
exception for Charlie. I made an exception for Wet Leg.
For Wet Leg, yeah.
I mean, they're still pretty. They're not huge. They're not super.
They had
they're
a
big.
huge moment.
Yeah.
But it is fun. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I feel like anybody talking about Wet Leg now
Yeah.
are like the real fans.
Yeah.
Whereas 2 years
Like their
ago,
followers are like on par with like Penelope Road right now. Like
Oh,
that's how
really?
like not super big they are. Like,
whoa, because they were.
They're not. I don't even think they're at a million. They're not at a million followers on Instagram.
Oh,
they're like,
okay.
They're like
It's How many does Penelope Road have?
a lot.
Whoa,
Like a lot. It's insane.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Because they're
Like-
from Athens, right? Or are they from here?
I thought they
Yeah.
were from Atlanta.
Maybe
I think they're from Atlanta.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't know Wet Leg was really not as big, but I feel like, that one song, Shay's Lounge, just took off.
Yeah. I discovered them from Tiny Desk. I watched their
Oh,
Tiny
really?
Desk. That's how I discovered Wet Leg first.
Nice. I liked something punches, the new song.
Yeah, Catch These Fish.
Yeah, Catch These Fists.
Yeah, I love Wet Leg. They're like,
And their
they're one of
album
my favorite
cover is
bands.
sick, dude. Their new album
Yeah.
cover, or the singles, I don't know if the full album's out yet, but
Yeah,
the art
album
for
will
it
be out
is
next
cool.
month.
Oh, next month?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I was kind of a bit of a contrarian about them when they put out their debut album. I just didn't really get it. I didn't really get why it was so popular, but everybody really
Wow.
loved it.
That was like my album of the year.
Dude, there's a lot
That
of
was
people's
my
album
that was
of the
that was
years.
my album of the year.
I know. I remember a lot of people loving it.
I was saying the other day, it was like, if there's a Wet Leg album coming out that year, that's the album of the year.
That's the album of the year for you?
That's
Whoa.
the album of the year.
Yeah,
So.
I don't know, dude. There's something about it. I was like, it just sounds very like, I don't know. It sounded.
It's goofy.
It's goofy. I feel like my friend told me he
It's like
went
unserious.
yeah, I think that's the thing. He's like, you should have gone to the show. If I was at the show, I would have really enjoyed it. And I think he's probably right. I might have changed my opinion because he showed me videos and it looked really fun. Everybody was having a good time. I think, yes, maybe it just didn't translate to me.
Yeah.
But then I heard Catch These Fists. I'm like, this is kind of sick, actually. So I'll
Maybe
keep
if you
an
watch,
open mind.
have you seen their Tiny Desk they did?
No.
It was like a tiny home concert.
Oh, okay.
It
Yeah,
was
no,
like,
I haven't seen it.
That's great. That's how I discovered them, and that's how I fell in love with them. Like before I even heard like a studio track from them. That's what I
whoa.
heard. Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
if you listen to that, maybe you'll fall in love with them too.
Yeah.
And then I binged like all their music videos. All their music videos are like really good.
Okay,
They're,
cool.
like really cinematic.
This is a question I
yeah.
can't believe I didn't have on here, but I just thought of is how do you discover music mostly? Atlanta or not,
I mean, I find a lot of my favorite artists just out of nowhere. Like I'll just fall upon them and stuff. Like,
Do you go anywhere to look for them, or do you pretty much not search it out?
well, if I'm looking for like local music,
Sure, yeah.
I'll discover new bands all the time. Like just like as they're just part of the bill, and I'll find artists that way. I don't go to a lot of big band concerts just because I don't know. I just haven't really. It doesn't really click with me.
Well, you
Like,
go to so many shows already,
Yeah.
and then it's weird to go to like a bunch of local shows, and then you're like, oh, I want to go see this bigger band. You're like,
Yeah.
the ticket is
It's-
like $100.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's
fuck
not like
that.
I'm going to the big shows to like find you. Like if I'm going to like a big show, I know that artist. Like
Right.
so I'm not really discovering anything there. But yeah, I mean, I don't really go places to discover new music per se, but I'm always like, looking at what's going on. And
Is there any like online
and like
thing you
playlists
follow?
are a big
Yeah,
thing. Yeah, playlists are a big thing. I'm listening to a lot of like playlists, even ones that aren't even made by Spotify, like just like other people's playlists. Like there's playlist Instagram accounts, like Laura's playlist. I follow.
Yeah, is that Laura Reyes? Is that her
I
name?
think so. Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I follow her and
Yeah.
I've been meaning to like actually give the playlist a listen. I mean, I just know she had a
She's
playlist.
she just has like a bunch of playlists.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's like a yeah. It's just like a bunch. She has like 50 freaking playlists.
That's
Yeah.
crazy, dude. I'm
Yeah.
not really it's funny because I'm not really a playlist guy. Like I will listen to your playlist, especially when I'm looking for
Yeah.
Atlanta bands to have on the podcast, or if I'm just in the mood to be like, oh, what's going on? Let me immerse myself in the Atlanta, the music scene, throw on your playlist. But other than that, I don't even make my own playlists to listen to.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I'll just listen to an
I'll be
album.
pretty bad with that. Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah. I'll listen to just full albums.
Yeah. Or
On,
I'll just
like
like
on
start at the
my
beginning
drives
of
to
one.
work. Yeah.
Or like if there's like an EP that's out, I'll play that. It's pretty rare that I'm throwing on a playlist. I might pick
Yeah.
like, oh, I want to hear a few songs I like, but if it's not that, it's just an album.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the only playlists I really listen to are like our own. Like I listen to the Cherry Soda playlist a lot that we have. And
okay.
I listen to the Atlanta Sound playlist a good bit too. But mostly I'm listening to albums, yeah. Like I've been listening to that new Blonde Shell album. That's been on like repeat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always loved the name Blonde Shell, but I just haven't
Yeah.
listened to them yet.
Yeah.
But I saw that they put out a new album and that people have been really digging it.
It's really good. She's awesome. And I've been listening to Japanese Breakfast's new album a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw Blake Mills produced it, I think.
Oh wow.
It's Japanese Breakfast. I was thinking of the Japanese House at first. Japanese Breakfast did like Paprika, that song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually just discovered Japanese Breakfast somewhat recently, like with this album releasing. Like I went back and listened to her album Jubilee, which has
Right.
Paprika. This first song, and that album's like also really freaking good.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but yeah, I've just been listening to like I listen to a lot of like female fronted bands.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's like mostly what I listen to. Like Wet Leg. I've been listening to the Samia album a lot.
Cool.
Bloodless, her new album. I'm seeing her.
I don't think I've listened to any
in
Samia,
September.
but everybody loves her.
She's great. I love her. She's awesome. And I listen to Girlpuppy.
Yeah.
I love Girlpuppy. She's awesome.
Yeah.
I listen to her music.
I do
pretty
really
often.
like that song.
And Mama Larky. I listen to her a lot.
What's the Girlpuppy song? I Just Do.
Yeah, I Just Do.
That's a fun one.
Yep.
And Mama Larky, I mean, for real, that album, I've only listened to Hex Key a little bit. I hate to say I haven't listened to it too much, but the one before that,
yeah.
I remember hearing it for the first time.
Pocket Fantasy.
Pocket Fantasy, yeah, and being like, this album is incredible. I didn't even know that they were from Atlanta, or at least Nora's from Atlanta.
They recorded that album in Atlanta.
That's
Pocket Fantasy.
So sick.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I was just like, wow, this sounds incredible. It's so fun. The sonics of it feel like I'm in like some old TV show or something, and it's like, I don't know, it's just fun. And then I found out they're from Atlanta, or they recorded here in Atlanta. I'm like, that's so cool.
I call them an Atlanta band. They're like friends with they're friends with this scene. So
like, but they are kind of like spread out, right? They all live in different
like
places.
a couple of them live in Houston.
That's so interesting.
And then one of them lives in LA.
Yeah, good for them for like keeping it together.
Yeah,
it's like a long distance.
That's why they're called the Tri-Coastal Quartet. That's what they refer.
That's awesome.
Because they're from
the Tri-Coast.
If you call who's Houston and the coast,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I wanted to take this over. Usually we have a last 5 where my guest picks out 5 questions from a bowl.
Wow.
However, a lot of those questions are more centered towards like, somebody who's writing music, like what's a song you wish you wrote, or, how would people describe your music if they listen to it. So instead I kind of wrote specific questions for you to fit, this podcast. And before we get to it though, I just want to say, everybody can follow you at Kapoorhouse on
Yeah.
Instagram. Do you have any other platforms you're on?
Or you can go to our website, kapoorhouse.rocks.
Kapoorhouse.rocks.
Yeah,
Also,
and
Atlanta Sound playlist.
That'll take you to all of our. That'll show you our playlists. And you can read our reviews there for
Nice.
some great.
Buy some
albums.
merch, some cassettes.
Yeah, you
I
can
love
buy
the
you can buy the
Kapoorhouse
honey
hats,
knife
too.
You can get a hat too.
And the pins. I was like, I need to get a pin, actually.
Yeah.
I also meant to say this. I noticed once, I was getting all these notes ready for you, that I had no idea that there was an open door on the H in the logo.
On the logo, there's a...
No idea.
Yeah.
I just thought it was KH, and I bet you I'm not the only one who didn't
No,
know that.
people are like, oh man, I did not see that before.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
The
awesome.
same. I mean, it's probably obvious to you, since you have it, it's your logo. But I kind of have a similar thing. Some people look at the two notes and they don't realize that these are piano keys in between them.
Yep.
So then when people do, they're like, oh shit, what? Like, there's so many layers.
Super cool in person. I have my Kapoorhouse logo painted on wood too.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, yep.
Nice. My friend, I say it all the time, but my friend Valeria, she painted this for me for my birthday once, and I almost cried.
Awesome.
Pretty much did. I teared up because I'm like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
I love that art style where it's like just
Yeah.
the different colors layered on top of each
I
other.
mean, she could have totally just done the blue, and I would have thought it looked cool, but something about the way it's like
it doesn't look like this, like in a in a good, like when you actually look at it, it's like so much more.
It's got like a layering to it.
Cool.
Yeah. Shout out Valeria. She
But
crushed it. Everyone always is like, oh shit, this looks really cool.
Yeah.
It's the only production value I really need. That and these two Shure SM7B
Perfect.
microphones.
It's perfect.
But yeah, so here are the questions I wrote.
Awesome.
Some fun ones in here. We'll start off strong. If you put all the indie bands or artists, all the Atlanta indie bands, artists in a cage and they had to fight to the death, which one would emerge victorious?
Oh my god.
Who's got the fighting chance?
Just any, like all the Atlanta bands?
Any that come to mind, when you think of Atlanta bands.
Yeah. I would say Caleb from Frigga 5.
Caleb from Frigga 5?
If they were all fighting in a cage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. I have not.
I don't know. That
Frigga
name
5
just
too much.
that name just popped in my head.
Well,
Either him or Jackson from Silly Goose.
Yeah, I was thinking just Silly Goose in general. Those guys seem pretty rowdy.
I just know
wouldn't be
like
surprised.
Caleb will like climb on shit. I'm like,
yeah. He's been training for it.
But yeah, either him or Jackson. If Silly Goose is in the cage, it would be Jackson.
Yeah. So I feel like Silly Goose would be the one like playing while everybody's fighting. That's the music you would be hearing while people are killing each other in this cage.
Probably.
But okay, cool. Caleb from Frigga 5 and who from Silly Goose?
Jackson
from Silly Goose. I need to get those two bands on here. That would be really fun.
Yeah, they're awesome.
The next one I have here is a little more, not as insane of a question. Who do you think, in your mind, deserves a little more shine in the Atlanta music scene? Who do you think?
Trash Club.
Trash Club.
They don't. Yeah, Trash Club needs more love.
I've heard of them because of you.
They're a great band.
Cool.
But yeah, not a lot of people are tuned into them as they should be. They're like from what was it? They're like from California. They moved here. They're like surf punk, but they moved here to Atlanta a couple years ago, and they like joined the scene, and they played with a couple of great bands. Like they play with like Yes Dear, and they play with just some other great bands like other in the punk scene, and they're great. Trash Club.
Cool.
They're like a great little surf punk rock band.
Trash Club gets the
like
endorsement.
anybody can get into.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Sweet.
They should get more.
Like I said, I've heard of them because of you, but I hadn't checked them out, but now I'll have to.
Yeah.
All right. Third question in here is if you could only pick one Atlanta indie artist or an album, by them to represent the music scene here, who would you pick? I know that's a big question. So you could pick either one band, or if you can get more specific, an album from that band.
Yeah, that's a really good question. right off the bat, I want to say Improvement Movement.
Whoa. Yeah.
I want to say them, but they're so different from everyone else.
Yeah.
They're so awesome, but they're so different from everyone else. I don't think I can say them.
They're almost like the best that Atlanta has to offer.
Yeah,
But
not
they
so
are
much. Not
representative of the sound here.
Yeah, so I don't want to say them. That's just what came to my head.
Mm-hmm.
But dang,
I do feel like obviously she's gigantic and probably the biggest Atlanta export, but Faye Webster has been able to bring a lot of shine to Atlanta, I think, for good reason.
I think so.
But maybe on a more local level.
Jeez. Everyone's just so there's like a lot of different pockets and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of different sounds that like just. I think if you were to name a few, I think Girlpuppy would definitely be one of those. Like, geez, I'm just saying the names that come to mind.
Yeah, that's okay.
Like, I think maybe Rose Hotel is like a good one.
I'm trying to get Rose Hotel on here.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, please respond to my DM. She keeps saying she's down, and then I'm like, all right, when are you down?
You can for sure get her.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, it's Jordan, right? That's her name? Jordan? Yeah. I'm like,
yeah.
Jordan, please come on. She's going to hear this and be like, oh my God, this guy's a freak. I'm not coming on.
Like, even just from my pile I've got here.
Yeah, you got a great pile here.
I think
all these
I
vinyls.
didn't bring the Lower Town album, but I think Lower Town's a great one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because like that kind of like punk scene is like so like drenched in the scene.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're a good one. Oh, Lunar Vacation's a great one. Yeah, just
I always felt like Hotel Fiction
they're great.
were like
Yeah.
the ones in, at least when I was in Athens, like I'm betting on them to like do big things.
Yeah.
I just think they got something special.
Yeah. Oh, I should have mentioned Recess Party for the bands who deserve more love, because I think Recess Party is gonna pop off. I think.
Yeah, dude, I love those guys. I also thought they would do pretty good in a cage match.
Yeah.
Mainly Christian. I think he'd be doing some heavy lifting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he looks like he can
No, Megan's
hold his
coming out
own.
on top.
Megan too, I feel like could. Yeah.
No, Megan is strong. She'll fucking she'll beat everybody up.
Yeah, shout out Recess Party. Love those guys. Riley, Sam, Christian, Megan.
Even like I think Honey Knife is a good band to
Did they
represent Atlanta.
open for?
They just opened for Group Love.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Because Group Love's bassist, I'm the worst. Daniel Gleason. Daniel Gleason produced their Honey Knife's record.
Oh.
At Big Trouble, his recording studio. And so
is it
they're
here?
tight.
Big Trouble?
Big Trouble is in Atlanta, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And so they're tight, and so they got to open for them. And
That's
the bassist from Honey Knife, I saw he was playing in Group Love, not as bass, but as like I think it was keyboard or something.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
That was cool. I don't know if it was just for like a song or something, but I saw him playing with Group Love.
That's so cool. Dude.
So
I had no idea for years and years Group Love was an Atlanta band.
Yeah.
Like when what was the first song that blew up? Tongue Tied?
That's just, yeah. I'm not like super like like in the know of Group Love. Eric is. He listens to them. But yeah,
The Leader is a great song.
Yeah, I listened to that song like yesterday, and I love that song. But
I remember hearing that hearing Tongue Tied on the radio when I was like a senior in high school and being like, this song's great. This is cool.
Best friend's house.
Yeah, so sick. It was like, I don't know. It was on the radio all the time, and I just assumed it was some, I don't know, some big indie-ish band, and then I find out 10 years later that they're playing Criminal Records because they live here,
Yeah.
Like, that's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
They're awesome. What was the question? Oh, yeah, who would represent the music scene
Maybe
here?
Group Love.
Group Love. I mean, hey,
Maybe
that's not a
group
bad
love.
answer.
Let's end with group love on that.
Let's end with group love. Yeah, period. All right, next question. Is there any unspoken rivalry between some bands around here? Do you know any tea?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's got their beef with each other.
Mhm.
I'm aware of just all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But yeah, I mean, there's definitely bands that have beef and stuff. I mean, you'll find that in every scene, that not everybody likes everybody. And
Yeah.
that's just something you have to be okay with, I guess.
Totally. I was even more just thinking, like, friendly competition wise.
Even like,
I'm sure there's people who it's on site, but
yeah, there's tons of that. It's like everyone, like if you've all the bands, they've all got shows and they wanna be the band that grabs people's attention, and everyone's just competing to, like, to be
the best.
Yeah, to be just to, like, have people, that just really support your music. Everybody wants that. Everybody wants that tight knit group of people that just loves their music. And yeah, I mean, it can get competitive, but not in a bad way or anything.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, yeah.
Just like a competitive spirit.
Yeah. Like, yeah, everyone just wants to be the best that they can be, and I mean, we're all friends and doing it and stuff, and
we're all one big happy family here.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Yeah. So next question is, what do you think should be the next piece of Kapoorhouse merch?
I mean, I'd love to do more tapes.
Yeah.
That's a great thing that I love doing. I just saw like Thriller Records was doing like trading cards for their artists.
Oh, that's cool.
And that was a really cool idea.
Yeah.
And I want to kind of explore that. I don't know how, but that's like super cool. Like, I'd love to like do trading cards, maybe like packed in with a cassette tape or something.
Yeah.
I think that would be really cool.
That would be smart.
Yeah. Something like that. Maybe. Definitely want to do a t-shirt, maybe like artists, like an exclusive t-shirt design for like Atlanta artist or something.
That would be cool.
I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, like
you could only
collaboration.
Get it. Yeah. Like, they don't have to, like, it would just be like available on our website.
Totally.
And stuff. That'd be awesome. Yeah.
That's a great idea. And then the last question I have here, what do you think is the Thanos gauntlet of Atlanta indie music venues? Like, which 5 venues do you have to hit?
Venues. Okay.
Were you thinking bands?
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say bands.
You
like,
can do that too.
Okay.
But I was thinking venues.
I'll
like,
do venues.
You got to hit all 5 of these venues.
I'll say Earl, Masquerade, Aisle 5.
Like, in my mind, thinking about which ones I've done.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say Smith's Old Bar. Yeah,
Smith's Old Bar is like, it's
kind of like a yeah.
It's crazy to think you could play these other places without going there.
Yeah,
it's like the first Pokemon that you catch.
Yeah, it's a starter. It's
a starter. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not everybody's favorite starter, but it's a starter that it gets you going. It gets you as far as it gets you far.
It does.
Even if it's not your favorite starter, it gets you far.
So,
and really my favorite place to go was 529. I know they've got a lot of drama going on.
They do, yeah.
But that was my favorite place to go, and that was always my recommendation to people of places to going. Maybe people will love that place again. Like,
yeah, I'm not 100% sure. Like, the owners changed, and I heard it's like going more metal or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I heard a lot of stuff was exaggerated, but
okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been there in like a long time, but
yeah, me either.
I definitely would like to add that one to the list.
Yeah.
Where were we at?
So we got the Earl, aisle 5,
Aisle 5.
Smiths,
529.
529. What was the
Oh,
other
I
one
said
you
Masquerade, right?
Masquerade,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's all.
Masquerade for sure.
How many Infinity Stones is there?
5, I think,
Oh,
right?
So that's it, right?
Yeah, that's good. That's a good list. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, because I feel like, Terminal West is getting up there in terms of like,
yeah,
it's like the next level of something.
I think their sound system should have some work.
Which one?
Terminal West.
Yeah.
I think I like that Lunar Vacation show. Like there was feedback like every couple seconds. Like it was. I think they ended their set early because it was not very long.
Wow.
And then I've just like when I'll go with Michael and stuff. Like he knows he's an engineer and and he goes to Terminal West all the time and he has had like issues with their sound system a lot and like just from being at shows like he says there's just like feedback like all the time.
Dang.
And stuff, so I think that they could
use a little
change
work
that. But Group Love brought like their own stuff, so it was like that show at Terminal West the other night was like so good.
That's awesome.
And like Honey Knife at Terminal West the other night was so good. Like that was a really good show.
Dang, dude.
Otherwise, but I really like Terminal West. I like the layout of it. It's super cool.
Yeah, I love that. You could really stand anywhere and feel close to the band.
Yeah.
That's definitely a favorite in terms of maybe mid-sized venues. Yeah. Like it's not small, but it's not necessarily big either.
Yeah. Like I think they compare with like the Loft at Center Stage. I think that's their.
Oh yeah.
I think that's the one that's on par with.
Yeah,
them.
The Loft is cool.
Yeah, I like Toward Center Stage. Yeah, I maybe should have been on the list, but
but also, it's like no, I think there's a reason we didn't think about it, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
But
it is a lot of bigger shows. I feel like a lot of locals don't play there that much.
And like locals can play like Center Stage. Like I played Center Stage. I know a few people who played like the center, like
they'll
the
play
smaller
vinyl.
one.
Yeah, they'll play vinyl.
Vinyl, yeah, that's what I was thinking. But it's like part of it. I honestly think part of it is the location. It's in like kind of a weird, it's like business
on, like,
part
of
the
Spring Street,
and it's fucking hard to park there, dude.
Yeah,
it sucks trying to get there.
I like scratch my car a little bit in that parking lot.
Oh yeah, I won't park in that lot anymore. Yeah. I'll park like no joke 5 blocks away and walk.
But I usually park up the street, like on the street, and then walk down the hill.
I'm not paying $20.
Is that really how much it costs?
It's $20.
Jeez.
Even when I played there, I had to pay $20.
Jeez.
I'm like, you guys can't be.
And like I'll drive into that parking garage.
Mm-hmm.
And then it'll be like full, so I'll have to like drive out of the garage.
Right. Yeah, do the walk of shame back up.
Yeah.
Man, but I'd say that's a good 5 that we rattled off there.
Yeah.
But cool. Kapoorhouse, 200th episode of on that note.
I'm so honored. I can't believe it's 200 episodes.
I know.
You've been like super consistent.
There's been stretches of time where I wasn't as consistent, but but overall, I'll come back to it.
Yeah, like with your 200 episode, like maybe I should ask you a question, like how did you like want to start something like this? Like why did you? Yeah. Why did you want to start something like this?
I started it during the pandemic on Zoom, so it's 2020, and a lot of time on my hands and stuck in my apartment in LA. And
so you started this in LA?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what's so funny that, people here don't usually realize that I've been doing it this long because nowadays I do focus on Atlanta, or when I was in Athens, I focused on Athens artists.
Yeah. Whoever can be here.
Right. But for the first 2.5 years, it was all on Zoom.
Yeah.
And
so
I was
just like anybody.
Yeah. I would find, Spotify, Fresh Finds, indie playlists. I would like go through that. And anybody who I really liked, I'd go find their Instagram. And if they had like less than 10,000 followers, I would DM them.
Yeah.
And if they had more, sometimes sorry, if they had more, sometimes I would, reach out to a manager or someone. And I ended up getting some people who I was like really stoked that I got. Like, I was so close to getting Dayglow.
That's awesome.
I know. I was like, I was talking with the manager, going back and forth, and then we weren't able to make it happen, which sucked. But I got like, I don't know if you know, Salami Rose Joe Lewis.
No.
Weird name, but she's sick,
so
dude.
fun.
She was featured on a Torre Moi song on his album Mahal. I don't know if you know that one.
No.
It's great. I'm a huge Torre Moi fan, but it was cool to like reach out to people and just Zoom with people all over the world. Like some people in like, London, and like someone from Spain, someone from Norway, and then of course just all around the U.S. And I don't know. I just wanted to do it because a big reason was I wanted to be able to ask these bands the questions that I wanted to ask. Whereas when I'd watch interviews of like, I don't know, you would see some interviews with like more local or more indie bands, and you could just tell like the people did not know
what to ask.
Didn't know what to ask. It would always be like, so when did you start playing music?
Yeah.
I'm like, come on. How many times I get asked this question? Can we ask something a little bit
more?
Like
fans know that stuff. Like fans know when bands started because they're fans.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like.
Exactly.
Like I think relatable questions.
Questions
are like the key.
Specific questions.
Maybe having like a theme to the interview. Like if you're doing like a podcast, like a theme to like the episode or something.
Exactly.
Like
the biggest compliment I'd ever get from people would be like, "Oh, that's a great question." Like,
yeah.
I love when the artist feels engaged with the conversation, because I've seen so many interviews where it's clear that they are not, and that the interviewers just has a list of questions somebody gave to them that then they have to ask, and nobody really wants to be there. The interviewer doesn't want to be there. The band doesn't want to be there. Like, that sucks. Like, they're taking their time out of their day to talk about their music, and some people hate talking about their music. Like, they don't want to do it. So if I can open people up to, and some people love it, but I love getting more of an inside scoop, digging deeper into that stuff. So that's really why I wanted to start it, and then selfishly to just meet more people who I thought were doing really cool things. Whereas if I was just like, hey, do you want to grab coffee? They might be like, I'm kind of busy. But I'm like, if we
put it like accomplish something.
There's a goal,
it
becomes a PR thing, or it can be, content. So like in that way, that's all I did. And suddenly me having a conversation with them wasn't so weird.
Yeah. Collaboration is like the best way to like meet the people that you want to meet.
Exactly.
Like, and that's like a lot of like what I'm doing is.
Yeah, literally. That's why
just a different end result.
I've always admired what you've done, because we kind of are doing similar things through different lenses.
Yeah.
Like I'm solely interviewing bands, but you're like propping up a scene and like going to all these shows.
That people like you are like interested in like talking to those bands,
Yeah, exactly. Like, it is kind of an ecosystem.
Ecosystem. That's a good, like, instead of database.
Right.
Like it's like ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
we're all kind of feeding each other in a way. It's cool. And I think it's really,
and like the fans are like a part of that ecosystem.
Absolutely.
Where it's like everything is just necessary.
Yeah. And I love doing it. I love doing them in person. After doing them on Zoom for so long, it's crazy to think that, now I've been doing them in person. I'm like, wow, I remember dealing with internet connectivity all the time, and that sucked. And doing this in person feels so much more real. I like feeling the more of a communal thing, whereas the first couple of years it was just people all around the world, which is cool in its own way, but it feels like I'm part of something now.
Like when I see like when I look at your thing, it's like you're like really tapped in, like how like we are, where it's like you have like you interview like all our artists that are like releasing music currently.
Right.
Like you're on top of that, where it's like, like it's like very up to date. Like.
Yeah, try to be, for sure.
So it's like, people can find like new music just from, combing over your page, you know, and they can,
Or, you know, people find music from your playlist and they're like, oh, I really liked that, you know, that Lane Marie song. And then they see on my podcast that I've interviewed her, and then they can go kind of dig a little deeper.
Because there's like fans that like will be following me and will also be following you. So it's like when they find a new, like, just how we find music from my page, they'll find it from yours and they'll be like, oh, that's super cool. And it's like all connected. That's
cool.
Like, yeah.
Love this scene. You know, it's cool to be a part of it. And I appreciate you coming on and kind of talking about your end of things. And it's just, it's nice to be able to share this space with you, as corny as that sounds. But, you know, it's just nice. It's cool. And everybody in this scene has been really, really sweet. And if you are still listening and you want to come on the pod, just hit me up. And yeah, follow Kapoorhouse, go to some shows, support the scene.
Yeah, go to shows for sure.
Go to shows, buy some merch.
Yeah.
All right, Sam.
Yeah,
Kapoorhouse.
thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course.
This is awesome.
Absolutely.
On that note, with Parker Whirling.